My name's Sundy Gilchrist. Um, Hello. And I'm just getting used to doing lives on Substack, and it's feels a bit scarier than doing them on Facebook. Anyway, I did one few weeks ago before Christmas, and shared a clip on my Facebook page, and it created a bit of a stir. I have to say, it was quite a lot of unkindness. The algorithms obviously pushed a lot of people towards it because estrangement is a hot topic at the moment. I am estranged. I have been not in my three adult daughters' lives now for 20 years. This end of this year, and it was interesting that most people on that live that I did wanted me to say why, and that's a hard question. And also, there's an assumption that it must be something that the parent did, and the judgment. And so I am seeing and sensing that there aren't too many voices around for parents to express the impact that this has on our lives. And as more and more people experience their adult children cutting them off for the million and one reasons why, um, much compassion and understanding of how it impacts on the parents, and it's devastating. It's one, if you've not experienced it, perhaps it's the fear that it might occur in your life might be the thing that makes people so angry with other parents, because it is hard to visualize. It is hard to have a sense of the devastation that it does cause. It's not just children, it's grandchildren too. And when you think about it deeply, it is incredibly upsetting. It has taken me a long time to come to terms with not possibly never having them in my life again, which I always tend to veer towards trusting that I've got another 30 years on the planet, all being well, and in that time so much can change, and I keep my trust in that. It's really difficult to kind of squash into a little Substack live to tell the journey, like share my journey of towards healing through the grief, through um the ways of communicating, the different ways of communicating that I've learnt, and the shame, the guilt, the whole gamut of emotions that we go through. And I work with a lot of parents. I have a Facebook group, and I screen people coming in so they don't just land in. It's not a public place. I was going to say controlled, but it's not that. It's monitored closely every day by me. And through that experience, I've learnt so much of holding space for other people in the same condition as me. I'm now an experience-based guide, stroke coach in estrangement, and I've explored my path through being estranged into one of self-love. I see so many parents struggling with their self-esteem. It's like, if my child doesn't want to be in my life and doesn't love me, who am I? What am I? What is my purpose? And a lot of us are really enmeshed and dependent on our adult children being in our lives. And a lot of us have immersed the whole of our identity in being a mother and a grandmother. I'm talking about women here, obviously. Um, and so when that's gone, we're like left with this. Well, who am I? What is my purpose? Why am I here? What? And it can open up a wonderful new experience of life, and that has been my experience. I'm not through the grief. The grief comes and goes, and that deep dark place that I went to a long time ago has gone. And I know that lots of people go into that place and disengage with their lives. And some people even opt out and choose to check out of their lives. It is devastating for parents. And it's equally devastating to have the judgment that often gets levelled at us through misunderstandings and through fear of other people judging and being critical. And it's tough. And at the same time, I realise that people are beginning to realise that we all, in the first 5 years of our life, develop our personality and our kind of view on the world and our coping strategies for how we operate in the world. And of course, when people go for therapy, that is going to be, tell me about your childhood, and we're looking for reasons as to why we are the way that we are. And of course, that's going to land on the parents. They didn't do this, they did do that. I can imagine that every child that we were would say or think about our parents saying, why did they make me do that? Or why didn't they make me do that? There's no, and logically, we know there isn't any ideal way to bring a child up. And then there's the other question of when do we become fully responsible for who we are and let go of blaming our parents? Because I was a child. I am a mother to children and I was a child. All of us were. And I suppose most of us will carry something, a judgment or an opinion about the way that our childhood shaped our adulthood. And then we either choose to use that as an empowerment tool or as a victim place. I chose mine to be an empowerment place. I was brought up in a family that was really volatile. My father was really volatile and with his words and his hands. And it was scary. And I was bestowed with a nervous system that wasn't particularly relaxed and also a tendency to bury myself into being busy, so that I never had time to think about my feelings. I was disconnected from my feelings. And I'm looking back as a kid when I saw him coming, the fear in me, I once involuntarily wet myself when he was coming towards me and ended up hitting me. And I'd be about 8 years old at that time. I can remember it. And so my nervous system was shot, and so I've been a nervous and depressive type of adult until I realised that there are ways and methods to heal that. So if you've just subscribed onto my Substack here, a huge big thank you. I think it's as a result, I've just had, the last 2 days, I've had loads of people signing up for free subscription. So a very warm welcome, and I hope you really enjoy being on my page on Substack. I write quite a lot, not just on estrangement, but on relationships in general, because relationships are my bag. Communication, I love it. I don't always get it right, and yet I really love to explore how we relate with each other in a way that's really kind, but also more than that, that's co-creative. That how we get past the separation between people and communicate and start to create together in this world that desperately needs something like that. I think estrangement is just one of the many bumps in the human condition that we're experiencing on the planet right now. So I suppose I'm a bit of a social commentator and a bit of a psychological. And as I've got older, the wisdom that I've collected is serving me well, and I'm getting braver at sharing it, because I think if you've got wisdom worth sharing, I think we need to speak it, and I'm doing my bit, and I'm trusting that you're doing your bit too, and maybe we can join up and do bits together, which would be great. I'll leave it there, and thank you so much. And yeah, it's not quite so scary once you get going on here. I'll see you again soon. Bye. Oh, now I've got to find the off button. Oh, it's at the top, not the bottom. I saw those hearts going up or something. Bye.